Today's topic is something that I find very, very close to my heart because I had to learn it the hard way. I'm not sure the hard way is the right word, but it's just that I've had to go through a lot of bad experiences and then learn it. The problem today I'm going to be talking about is actually twofold. The problem is egotism. And in a way, the flip side of egotism is idolization. What egotism means is you have an inflated sense of self. You just think, "Main bahut bada insaan hu, and I can't be wrong." And basically, you have an exaggerated sense of for yourself, like I'm very special and I can't do anything wrong. And the flip side is idolization, where you are putting somebody else on the pedestal, where you think somebody else is very, very special. They are hero. You're worshiping somebody else. Right. So these two, egotism and idolization. I find both of them problematic. I'll give some reasons and I'll also talk a bit about how to get over them. First, I would like to tell you the whole spectrum that I see here. And for that, I'm going to share my screen again because I want you to not look at things which I'm saying in like separate compartments. Look at most of the human traits in spectrums instead of looking at, okay, good, bad, and basically modest or ego. These are not compartmentalized things. These are things on a spectrum. On one side, there is egotism, like I'm the best, I'm everything, can do everything, I know it all, I'm special. In the middle, which is the balance zone, we are all useless and useful. We are all nothing. We are all a mix of stupidity and knowledge. We are all equal. No one is special. Like this is the modesty, not just for yourself, for others also. And on the other side is self-loathing, which is of course also problematic. I'm useless. I'm nothing. Can't do anything. I'm stupid. Others are better. So what is our goal here? Our goal is, if you are on this side, egotism, come to modesty. If you're on self-loathing side, then again, you can come to modesty. And here the idea is that people can actually be self-loathing on one issue of their life and very egotistic on other. It's not like one human being is completely egotistic and other is completely loathing themselves. No, we can have a mix of all of these things and you can actually be modest in some other area of life, right? So this would actually simplify this. Self-loathing is you attack your own self. Modesty means you keep yourself in check. Egotism is you worship your own self, right? Now, one more. These are some words that I actually find synonymous with them. For self-loathing, there is self-hatred, self-doubt, lack of confidence, inferiority complex, etc. For modesty, things are like humility, decency, humbleness, simplicity. And for egotism, narcissism, arrogance, conceit, vanity, self-importance, boastfulness, egocentrism, right? So if I really break it down, you can actually think of it like this. Self-loathing is unrealistic doubt. You're not in touch with your reality. You're feeling so bad about yourself that you have actually not seeing the reality in you, which is the strengths in you. So it's unrealistic. Modesty is realistic doubt and realistic confidence. So modesty is more about being real, right? And egotism is unrealistic confidence. You're just too confident. You should not be. Okay. So idolization is you are worshiping somebody. He's the best. She's everything. He can do everything. She knows it all. He's special. Normalization is again all of those exact same things which I mentioned earlier. And the condemnation is he is useless, she is nothing, he can't do anything, she's stupid, others are better than him. You're just condemning somebody. So the same thing, you're doing it for some other people. And again, here the goal is to come towards normalization. Okay. So now that I've shared that part, let's come to the why, the interesting part. First of all, why do we need modesty? Why do we need normalization? And is it just something that's written in the books? Like, is it written in the Gita that, okay, or some other holy book that you should be modest or you should not treat other people such and such? Or there are some good reasons behind it. And I say there are some very logical reasons behind why modesty and normalization are actually the way to go. So first reality about our brain is that we're all actually born, our perspectives, our worldview are actually inherently flawed. So we do have a sense of reality. Our senses do work. Like if I touch a table right now, I know that it's a table and I'm not fooling myself. That's true. But as you go into more and more complex analysis, for example, in my family, how do I treat my family, right? And how do I raise good children? And how do I become a good neighbor? How do I learn things? And what is good for this world? When you start to go into complex questions where you're not dealing with 2 + 2 facts, there there are huge problems in our thinking, which in psychology we call cognitive errors, cognitive biases, and sometimes logical errors, right? So what that means is you can sometimes take a small incident and make a very wrong conclusion. Just to give you an example, you go to a party and somebody talks to you, somebody doesn't talk to you enough. Now you had this small interaction of 2 minutes, but you got a wrong vibe, and you go home with the conclusion that that person is actually very snobbish and they don't like us. Now, you have absolutely no idea about the context, what that person did, what they did not do, but you suddenly made this conclusion. Now your brain is capable of making such errors. Maybe that person was not feeling well. Maybe that person had to rush. Maybe they were so troubled they had something else on mind. You have no idea, but your mind made a certain conclusion. So what that tells us is when you look at the world, we all make different kinds of conclusions, and those conclusions can be faulty. There can be a lot of mistakes. So inherently, this machine inside our head, this is not perfect. This is not a perfect computer. We make all kinds of errors. And once you realize that this is the basic part of who we are, it's it's natural that you understand that whatever you're thinking will not be perfect. There will be flaws, and modesty will be a natural conclusion. Once you understand your own psychology, how you can make mistakes, how you can completely irrationally connect two things which are not connected, right? So it's like today it rained, and today something good happened, right? Like your boss gave you a small promotion. Now your brain makes a conclusion that whenever it rains, it's good for me. So your brain can make all kinds of faulty, wrong, supernatural conclusions. And I must repeat it again, because when you are sounding too confident, when you're sounding very righteous with other people, and when your ego is all inflated, you're assuming that this brain is serving you perfectly, when it cannot, because brain is inherently faulty, right? So it's not like I said, it's not completely faulty, but it's faulty to a great degree. And once you understand this basic psychology of yours, this cognition of yours, you're like, okay, you know what? Next time I say something, I should not be this confident. I should say it with a grain of salt, and maybe look at other people's perspective too. Second is abilities. So many times you can become very egotistic about your abilities. Maybe you are very good at, let's say, talking or studying or math or your business, and it can create a lot of ego in you because I can do so much. Again, that is a problematic thing, because first of all, you're forgetting that there are millions of other talented people out there. You're not the only one. Just because you don't meet them, maybe you are really talented among the group of people who you meet, let's say your own circle of 20-30 people, but you're completely forgetting that the world is full of people and there are millions of other talented people out there. So if you think you are very special because you scored a lot in your some exam, you're very, very mistaken. And plus, you're also forgetting that you have a lot of flaws too. So when you are harping on your abilities, you're forgetting how you're causing so many mistakes, and you are doing so many things wrong too, because nobody can be perfect. We all have strengths and weaknesses. So in the second one, the idea here is, once you see that you're a bag of strengths and weaknesses constantly, if you remember your own faults and remember your own weaknesses, it's hard to be egotistic. And once you lose the sight of that, then of course the natural conclusion is you can feel too special about yourself. And the same for other people, by the way. In idolization, what happens? You have some hero, you have somebody who you worship. You completely forget all the mistakes that they make. You are constantly defending that other person. Now it could be a celebrity, it could be a politician, it could be your guru, it could be anybody. Some human being who you worship, you just see all the right things. Like, just to give you an example, the most common way how so many gurus are successful, because their disciples, they're only looking at the green lights, not the red lights, which is all the time they make predictions. If they go right, the disciples would say, oh, Guruji said something and it was all right. Yeah, it happened. Oh, it's so amazing. But every time they are wrong, they just explain it away. They're like, you know what, that happens sometimes. Nobody can be always right. Ultimately, it's about destiny. In fact, then they bring in God or something else. So when they're looking at their abilities, they're only seeing the strength part, not the weakness part. And that's why they idolize people. So the moment you look at yourself or somebody else through the whole picture, egotism and idolization cannot happen. You automatically will become modest, and you will normalize other people. Okay. Another fact about life is you can think about accomplishments, right? It's very common sometimes, like if somebody does something big, like you got selected in IIT, right? Or you scored a big promotion, or you scored a big deal, or you actually started a whole new business and it became successful. Some accomplishments can really get to your head, right? Okay, and now I'm the biggest person in the entire world. I'm God. I can do anything now. And then again, you forget that there are, first of all, millions of people out there who have done amazing things in life, and there are people who have done bigger things than you. But it's very possible to then think of yourself as the special one. Like, okay, I have done something so important that nobody else can. But again, that's factually false. And also another thing is that whatever you do in life, ultimately it doesn't matter that much. Because, and I'm going to say something which is very harsh to realize, but it's important to realize too. No matter what you can do in life, it's actually not more than a drop in the ocean. If you think about this, whoever you help, you think, right, like I can change the entire world. What does that mean exactly? That means that you can ultimately help people, right? Change people's lives. But please remember, all of us are going to die. You're going to die, I'm going to die, we all are going to die. And people that you're going to help, whose lives you change, they're going to die too. So what did you do? So the idea here is, if you think that you're going to change the world, no, you can't. You simply cannot, because whoever you change is not going to stay there. Whatever you do is not permanent either. And another very, very big important thing here is, you are nothing without other people. Nothing. Your abilities, your accomplishments, you could not have done anything. You can take the most accomplished people in the world. Take Einstein, right? Take Elon Musk, like in today's life, and take Newton, take biggest billionaires. Put them in a jungle and leave them for 10 years without anybody else. See what they can do, right? Don't give them any help. See what their genius, see what their abilities can do. Anybody who's able to do anything in this life is standing on the shoulder of giants. If you've heard of that term, what that means is, people have done amazing things. Humanity has done amazing things. This society has been organized in a manner that anybody can now come in and shine. So if somebody thinks in their mind that I'm a completely self-made millionaire, billionaire, they are just fooling themselves. They are delusional. Why don't they try that on Mars or Pluto or in a jungle? They would fail utterly. They would probably die in a few months. So we must recognize that in ourselves alone, we are nothing. We are so dependent on other people. And it's an interdependent society. And once you realize that, how will you be egoistic? Like, what is the basis for you to be egoistic? You are nothing without other people. So naturally, there will be modesty. And the same goes for your heroes, by the way. If you have any heroes, if you have any celebrities, if anybody is worshiping, that person is nothing without you and without the society that they are around. So once you realize this, how can you idolize somebody? How can you think that somebody is a superhero? Nobody is. So these are some of the truths. When you realize that the nature is like that, the reality is like this is a natural conclusion. Okay. And if you really want to test yourself, how you can be completely wrong about things, try making predictions. So-called experts, and there has been a lot of research, by the way, so I'm forgetting the exact research, but the idea there was, they asked some experts to make some predictions, and then they asked some monkeys to punch in some numbers. And what they found out was the accuracy of monkeys was equal to the experts. So what that mean is that when you try to predict something, especially when it's complex things, most people who sound experts, they actually know nothing. And their egos are inflated because of their degrees, because of, okay, I have 20 years of experience. And once something happens, it's easy to explain it. But in reality, their cognitive abilities, their predictions are very, very faulty, and nobody then goes up to them. Okay, so people make predictions about scores, who will win, who won't win. People make predictions about elections, cricket games. And if you ask them, okay, you were wrong, what do you think about that now? Then they'll come up with excuse, nobody will go to them. But reality is, if you think you know too much, you're basically fooling yourself, okay? Because it's just beyond all of us. So these videos can help you to some degree, but if your problems are really serious or painful, you should come for counseling. We now have a team of psychologists who can help you and your family live a much better life. Here are some feedbacks from our clients. If you wish to take counseling from us, go to our website page www.shridharlifeschool.com/counsel. Click on this link and fill this application form. We will get back to you soon.